Hi, and very big welcome to all of you. It's Gene from maverickstar Observatory. I thought I'd do this video as I had a prompt from a family member saying, "You've not done a video today, what's going on?" So Carol, for you, this video is yours. What we're looking at is the universal equation. You might get your head around that or not. It's ahead of its time, just like a lot of things are. I suppose I should do also a shout out to somebody else in my family, Jensen Jean. If you're watching, you're a superstar. Thank you for being such a superstar. Let's say that. Okay, so what will be the topic of this video? It won't be nothing to do with pole shift news, I can guarantee you that. It'll be just what has been viewed and interpreted from what I've seen over the last week. I follow a professor of psychology who recently interviewed a North Korean woman, and she expressed her experience growing up in North Korea. And it's really strange to listen to such a story, let's say that like that. I'll explain. This woman grew up in a country where, you know, if you don't know nothing's wrong, then it's not wrong, is it? And, you know, most people have to have in North Korea a photo of one of the King Yen Jing, whatever the names are, who runs the country. You know, it's a classical what's the word I'm looking for? A classical, not Soviet, but they are the same. Chinese, the same. Dictatorial run countries. Let's just say that. I can't think of the word that I'm looking for. But, you know, this woman had a life where, you know, you could be easily imprisoned for very little things like we take for granted in this country and other Western countries like the United States, Australia, etc. And I'm pretty sure most of you know about this, but to hear a first account of her life and her upbringing and her experiences touched a little bit on some notes for me. And I just thought, you know, we absolutely do live in a world where people are subjected to, you know, these sorts of things. One of the things that you know stood out to me is that, you know, in order for her to get protein, she had to eat grasshoppers, and she got tired of eating grasshoppers. She went through many experiences in her life, not just eating grasshoppers, but all sorts of things, leading to her being sold in the sex trafficking business, having to sell her own mother so that she could move on a little bit further. A later date, she re-brought her mother, and then they were united, and then, you know, things moved on from there. But she also had some experiences which, you know, if not those that I've mentioned, didn't kill her. She also went through having to, you know, escape North Korea and head to Mongolia. But in doing that, she had to travel through a desert. Now, that would have killed most people. And she said most people, you know, openly explains that most people that walk the desert to Mongolia, you know, this escape route, they die. And, you know, what kept them alive was this small amount of people that was with her at the time, and one of them had a young child as well, which was extremely dangerous, and they all knew the risks, but they all took it in turns in holding that child through the desert to, get to a country that could possibly help them. She ended up going back to South Korea and being educated there, then went to America eventually, where she resides now. She's obviously, because of her telling the truth, on the death list now. She's wanted and would be killed if she ever returned to North Korea. And it just humblizes me, and I'm sure it does you guys, that people in our world have these experiences. We complain about a lot of things, like COVID has kicked the shit out of a lot of businesses here in the UK and the rest of the world, and affected us all independently. And we know that is largely caused by people not doing the right thing. And I could mention names. These are billionaires that have got nothing better to do than make another £1 billion. But it has to be on a scale where it affects lots of people in order for them to make that next billion. That's the game level that they're at. What really is in their minds? They call themselves philanthropists, and they portray themselves as doing the right thing, but in the end it's all about just one thing. The nature of the beast, the money. And if they can earn more through doing the wrong thing, if it's the only way, they will do it. They've got no conscience. They've put it in the closet. And that's the world we live in today. I think most of you that watch these videos that I do understand one thing, that we are seeing social media platforms become stronger than governments, in the respect that they are globalized, like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and many others. And there is a regulation. These platforms are not allowed to portray something that will offend one of their friends, partners, or associates. It is the elite running these things. And we listen to stories like what's happened in North Korea and how people live in North Korea, and I've only just tiptoed on the subject of it. How bad it really is unimaginable. You couldn't even imagine how bad it is. Because listening to this professor in this interview talk to this woman, she said it was that bad that if we talked wrongly about our leader, it was their duty, who was listening to you talk wrongly about him, to report you, and you could spend years in jail for that. And history had been rewritten in North Korea to the point where there was no mention of Jesus Christ. The Christ part of it had been replaced with King John, or whatever his name was. It was all about putting these people on the throne, and to everybody in the country, they worshipped him, and they had nothing. They regularly had to go out and eat grasshoppers. And we're lucky here in these Western worlds not to have experienced being born in those countries, I think. Okay, I'll end it here. But what you've been looking at whilst I've been talking is the universal equation. And it has surprised even people, would you believe, at NASA, that it filters down just to 2 zeros. Their comments directly from someone that works in that organisation said, we'd never seen anything like it. And it really is an eye-opener for a lot of people that have never come across that equation. Even for me, I even remember the day I woke up, got out of bed in my boxer shorts and writ it down and told people about it, and I have got to admit I've never did it justice to this day. It really does explain what our universe is doing and how it's creating things. So on that note, I think we'll round it up here. You know what, you guys have an amazing day, look after your loved ones, and as always, bye for now.